Yeah, just kind of like consistent what we said last week. I think one of the challenges year one is, trying to get that connection between your fan base and the team. And the traditional kind of basketball that we all, or at least I grew up with, is kind of non-existent, right? Like I didn't wake up every year wondering who was on the Lakers this year. I knew Worthy was back and Magic was back and Kareem hadn't retired yet and might have been one free agent or something, but there was a consistency. And I think that's kind of like what year one's a challenge too, trying to get the fan base, especially our student body, season ticket holders, everybody that loves Texas basketball, to know our players. Because when it gets personal, I think that's when special can happen. Nothing great happens unless you're emotionally invested in it, and college basketball is no different. So was last week Timmy, and this week just proud and happy for you guys to meet Marcus. In my opinion, one of the kind of best guys I've been around. We've a couple months into our relationship here, but it's just a guy above all that I have a lot of respect for. I really like spending time with this guy. He's obviously one of the best players in college basketball returning. That's well documented. But I think as you guys help us get the story of all these players out there, that's going to be where the real connection between our fan base and this year's first Texas team is. What I'll say briefly about Marcus, and then the floor is his, is just, there was a real consistency and just a real trust factor. I mean, the very first conversation I had with Marcus was while he was about to enter into the NBA process that I completely supported. I knew where his focus was, but we had a very clear conversation, and he kept his word. Everything he told me that he was going to do, he did, and I hope he feels the same way about us. I know he does. So we just started with a lot of respect from our first conversation all the way into the conversations when he made his own decision to come back to college basketball. Then we were in a position then to recruit him. But our relationship started with trust, and I think we're off to a great start. So I'm looking forward to you guys getting to know this guy more because he's special.
Questions for Marcus? Raise your hands, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, simply put, why Texas? What was your conversation like with Coach Beard prior to joining? And did you see sort of a vacancy at the point guard position that you wanted to fill?
Well, kind of like Coach said, when I was about to go through the process, we kind of spoke, had a real good conversation. Like you said, it was very truthful. He understood what I was trying to do, and that my feet were kind of in the process and trying to get to that next level. And he did nothing but support me from day one, and wished for my success. He kind of let me know that he hopes it works out for me no matter what. But if it doesn't, then this is definitely a place where I should consider being. I've heard a lot about Coach even before, kind of really considering coming here, just the kind of person he is, how he pushes his players. And, I like the fact that, from day one, he was truthful with me, he was honest with me, he was willing to, allow me to go through my process, trying to get to the NBA and receive that feedback. And, that really meant a lot to me. And then from there, we just started building our relationship. And then, him being at Texas, of course, it's Texas. It's kind of a no-brainer. Coming here, it's especially a kid from Toronto, the past guys and point guards that have been here and represented for us in our country here at Texas. So it definitely is an honor to be playing here, and super blessed to be playing for Coach and playing for the guys that I'm with.
How do you see Texas helping you make that next step to the NBA?
Just with Coach and the guys every single day. He's told me since the summertime when we spoke that if I come to Texas, they'll be pushing me every single day. He knows what I have to do to get to the next level. He knows what I have to do to be better. But not only that, we were kind of singly aligned on this one goal that we're trying to win a championship. So everything is working towards that, and they push me every single day, and that's why I came here to be around the best players, be around the best coaches, be pushed every day.
Brian, go ahead.
Marcus, not many guys had your choices, NBA or go to a good landing spot, right? I mean, it's kind of the best of both. Really. Did that make it easier to do the NBA process? Is that, hey, if I don't like what I hear or whatever, this is a really good alternative?
Coming down the stretch of that whole thing, it definitely kind of made it easier for sure. Just knowing that Texas was a spot that I could possibly go to, and like I said, me and Coach had already built a relationship that was getting pretty strong, so I felt pretty confident in that. But during the process, my feet were kind of in, but me and Coach still kept communicating throughout it. He let me have my space, but at the same time let me know that I was still a priority for them and still somebody that they wanted. So him giving me the space, but also still letting me know that was definitely huge.
Bob, go ahead.
Have you know Corey Joseph? Have you talked to him much? And what is that relationship like yourself?
Right. Like I said, just grew up watching Corey even before he came to Texas, and then when he came to Texas, and of course beyond. He played kind of with my older brother and stuff, so got to know him through there, and then recently just through social media and stuff, just connected with him and stuff. So it's been really cool.
Nick, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Marcus, I just want to ask about your relationship with your brother. I know you guys are close, and he kind of paved the way for you to sort of go, you know, he did the high school route, obviously made the Final Four at South Carolina. You know, how much did it help just kind of seeing him go through that process before you did? You know, how tight are you guys?
It was huge, you know, seeing him go through it every single step of the way. You know, he was the reason why I even really started playing basketball, and you know, he's just knocked down so many doors for me, and seeing him do some amazing things. And you know, he's been to the Final Four, and now you know I'm trying to one up him and raise that trophy. So you know, my whole career is almost a credit to him, and you know, the work that he's put in, how I seen him work, and how I kind of try to emulate him.
What was it like for y'all growing up in Toronto, which, you know, really has kind of become a burgeoning, you know, hoops hotbed, and really the whole sort of, you know, country has, but really in Toronto, it seems like basketball has really taken a hold there. What was it like for you to kind of, you know, grow up as basketball is really becoming a huge sport there?
Right. It was, looking back on it, you know, at the time we didn't really know, but now looking back, like kind of being a part of that growth, you know, it's kind of pretty special to see it at the place that it is right now, and just to be a part of that whole process, and to go from when I was really young to never have seen an NCAA basketball game to, you know, them regularly broadcasting games now and not just a tournament is something huge. So I'm happy that, you know, it gives kids, you know, a bigger view and something to strive for more, and, you know, I'm just blessed to be a part of that.
Chip, go ahead, please, on your right.
Marcus, can you talk about, you know, as you're considering Texas, they're adding these transfers into the program and what impact that had on you, and then, you know, blending that mix
Right.
once you get here?
All right. Well, you know, I'm basketball junkie, basketball head, so I'm always watching. So a lot of these guys that transferred in, I knew who they were before they even, you know, committed and came to Texas. Guys like I played against before, even I played against Timmy my sophomore year at Minnesota. Played against Courtney at high school. We always talk about that and have jokes about that. So, you know, I definitely was paying attention to the team that, you know, Coach Beard and his staff are putting together here, and definitely recognized something special. And then even when I was, you know, coming down to the wire and being recruited by Coach, just the guys, us coming together and being an older group and kind of, you know, everybody emphasizing that this is one goal and everybody has the same goal in mind. That was huge for me to know that, you know, I'd be coming into a situation where I'd be accepted not only by the coaches but by the players as well, and, you know, we would still, you know, hit the ground running and chase after this goal.
And how's the mix been now that, you know, you've been in it, you've been in the workouts? How easy or difficult, because you're all proven products, you've all done it for your former
Right.
teams.
Right. I think that's what makes it easy. Everybody's kind of, you know, done it their own way and shown how special they could be individually. But, you know, now we all recognize what needs to be done as a team, and how we have one goal. So, you know, every day it's coaches pushing us. Every day it's us pushing each other, kind of iron sharpening iron. So it's definitely a good experience to be a part of.
Brian, back in front.
Being from Canada, I have to ask, have you ever played hockey? Do you know how to play hockey? Is that a thing?
I played a few games in my gym class, but I wouldn't say I'm very, very good at all.
Okay, and did you have ever guessed that you're a basketball giant in Texas?
No, it's definitely not something that, you know, I would have guessed, but, you know, it's something that's, you know, when I look at it, it's pretty full circle now. Like I said, the guys that have just come before me and the guys who paved the way and kind of went through here. So, you know, I just can't express how blessed I am to be here and blessed I am to be a part of this team.
Bob,
So did you grow up a Raptors fan? Is that your
Yeah, for sure.
who were some of the guys you looked to in the NBA when you were
Funny enough, you know, obviously TJ was there, had some great years there for sure. TJ, Vince Carter, you know, brought a lot of excitement to the city. Tracy McGrady, Chris Bosh, of course, the run he had, and even, you know, Corey Joe coming in, DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, just, you know, a few of the special teams, and then obviously the championship team. All the guys on that roster, just what they brought to the city and the whole country was huge. So, yeah, definitely always been a Raptors fan.
And then Timmy was talking last week about how he plays for his mom and what she means to him. What's kind of your inspiration? What do you look to when you're, why basketball? And what kind of inspires you?
just my whole entire family. You know, from like I said, my brother being the reason why I ever picked up a ball to, you know, me just noticing the sacrifices that my parents had to make for me and my brother. You know, just going on AAU trips. Going to practices, like that was our family time, you know, being spent in the car on the road. And I know they didn't do a lot of stuff that maybe they wanted to do just so that, you know, me and my brother could have the opportunities that we had. And it was something that was new to them because we're pretty much, you know, the first and only athletes in our family. So it's not like, you know, they knew that this was a route that could be taken, or they kind of knew exactly what would come out of this. So definitely always thinking of them when I'm playing.
Were your mom and dad athletes?
You know, respectable ones. You know, my mom, definitely get basketball from my mom. She played in high school. She used to beat me and my brother in 21 until, you know, we could really shoot and stuff. So she got that. And my dad, you know, ran track and played soccer. So definitely got the genes from them.
Nick on your front right.
Yeah, Marcus, obviously it's a unique, you know, makeup this team, having, you know, pretty much twice as many newcomers as you did holdovers from last year. Curious, what have y'all been doing to kind of build chemistry off the court and just kind of try to get to know one another, you know, off the basketball court?
Right. I mean, outside of basketball, you know, we kind of all just genuinely meshed with each other. You know, I didn't think anything was super forced. I think early on, you know, we had some team activities. Of course, coach wanted us to be close, but you know, from day one that I got here, kind of just seeing how guys were and hanging out. It was always just, you know, hanging out around the house, playing 2K, playing the game, just doing something to be around each other and just get to know each other. We knew how important it would be to, you know, not only mesh on the court, but off the court as well, because we know how strong those relationships need to be when, you know, you're going into battle.
Are there any specific guys you feel like you've really, you know, connected with?
I feel like, you know, I've done a pretty good job connecting with everybody. I try to, you know, go out my way and just try and find different things that everybody likes that I could connect them with. But I'm definitely, you know, cool with I'm roommates with Timmy and Christian, so we definitely, you know, end up spending the most time together. But, you know, I definitely try to do different things with everybody.
Got time for about 2 or 3 more left. Jonathan, the back camera one.
Marcus, you know, just in what ways have you noticed yourself improving since arriving?
Right. I think just that consistency and the everyday mentality. You know, I want to be a guy who's, you know, breaking down kind of the things that are being said. Definitely, I want to, you know, me and coach talk about it. Everybody on the coaching staff knows, you know, what I'm trying to get done. I'm trying to, you know, be the best two-way player in the conference, in the country, make an all-defensive team, continue to make guys better, showcase my playmaking ability, and, you know, of course, win at the highest level. That's the ultimate goal. So just really appreciate coach and the staff and the guys for pushing me every day to, you know, kind of hold me accountable to that and, you know, just really get after it.
Chip on the right.
Marcus, what's something you hear in your sleep from this guy?
It's definitely 4-1. That's something that, you know, he's preached since day one, and I've kind of taken a hold to. And it's really, you can apply it to everyday life, so it's not just a basketball thing. It's something that you could take with you every day through life.
Ryan, last one.
Talking about defense, like when I asked about Alexis knows, I mean, your 3 years, your steals have gone up, your turnovers have gone down, all the numbers are pointing in the right direction. Just how would you describe the actual player that you think Texas is getting?
You know, just a two-way dog, a guy who wants to do anything to win, being a dog on both sides of the ball, and just putting his teammates in the best position to succeed.
Marcus, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Gang, raise hands for questions for Coach, please. Ross in front.
Hey, Coach, I believe in your first.
He's pretty impressive, isn't he? Yeah. Been doing this for a while. It's a little different.
Coach, I think when you first spoke to us here, you mentioned a positionless brand of basketball being sort of the vision you had for this team. So within that framework, do you see Marcus as just another guard, or do you see him as a true point guard? And then also, with Jones and Rainey returning, how do you evaluate the guard situation now with the addition of, according to many, the best transfer in college basketball on Longhorns?
Yeah, I like our backcourt. I think we got a chance to be good. That was the whole deal here. Year one, you know, be competitive. CDC didn't give me some kind of 6-year plan, you know, so we shared that vision. So I like our backcourt. To me, it starts with the returners. Been really pleased with Courtney. He's about as bought in as I've ever seen a guy from the day the press conference hits to right now. He's doing everything we've asked of him and some. I can't tell you how proud I am of that guy. I'm ready to to go to war with that guy. It's going to be fun. I think the fan base is going to be really pleased. I mean, he's an all-conference player, but he's gotten better. Same to be could say true for Andrew. I think the biggest thing with Andrew is just getting healthy, and his body looks different, feels different. John Riley's done a great job with him, so I think Andrew, everybody understands his talent around here, but just a bigger, stronger, kind of more durable version, and he's really kind of stretching himself a little bit defensively, making that more of a priority. You know, I think Jace has a chance to have a special season, and you know, you guys know he started 90-something games around here. He's one of the best shooters in the history of the Big 12, but he's so much more than a shooter. You know, he's a guard, and I think you guys will be pleased with some of the stuff he's doing without the ball on both ends. So those three guys as returners, then, you know, we did a good job in recruiting. College basketball, you know, it's a guard game in a lot of ways, and, you know, you got to have those guys that can go make a play in the last couple minutes of the game, and we feel good about it. I think with Marcus, you know, I'm not really into positions. You know, Coach Knight would always say a guard, somebody that can dribble, pass, and shoot, and everybody else is a forward. And I've always kind of believed that. And so, but I think Marcus is obviously a guy that, you know, one day he'll be asked to do a certain job for a paycheck, and whether that's to run a team as a pass-first guy, he can certainly do that. We've seen that in our short time with him. I mean, he's a more than willing passer. He's a facilitator. He's a playmaker. But he can also score the ball, and his numbers show that. So we'll need both. We'll need Courtney and Marcus and Drew and all these guys to do both this year. But I like our backcourt. You know, I'm not one of these guys going to get up here and kind of sandbag everything. I mean, I'm always going to tell you the truth. And so, yeah, I would put our guards up against anybody in the country.
Do you see him as being the primary ball handler this season?
We're going to have multiple guys who can handle the ball. You know, you can't win a championship if you got one guy. You know, let's just think about the history here. Baylor executed about as well as it's ever been done last year. You know, with Butler could handle the ball and Mitchell bring it up, and you know, just other guys. I think back to 2 national championship games ago, we were in that game, and with us certainly we had 3 guys in the lineup that you might call him a point guard. I call him a guy that can make a play. So this year we'll always have more than 1, maybe 2. Timmy's such a special player and all the things he can do. So we're, you know, our goal is to have 3, 4 guys out there that can bring the ball up the court.
Brian in front.
Chris, you know, like I was asking him, he's just like Timmy in that he built each career, each year was better and better than the last, statistically speaking. How much did you really get into that analytically, if that's a thing, when you're looking at these guys? You know, these are guys who are
Yeah.
career on the upside.
Yeah, quite a bit. You know, I'm a big believer in evaluation. I'm not the best analytic guy on our staff, but we've got some guys that can put it, you know, on a big chief tablet form that I can read. You know, I passed a lot of classes around here with Cliff Notes, so they can't take my degree away from me. You know, I've got it. I've got a master's degree based on a lot of Cliff Notes too. You younger people in here even know what a Cliff Note is? Black and yellow, $4.95, man. Yep, Irving Mall. No, absolutely. Evaluation's a big part of it, and yeah, these guys have gotten better. The first part of it is the coaches these guys have played for too. I mean, I can't tell you how much respect I have for every coach that these guys have played for, including Shaka. And you know, you think back. I mean, you guys work at this. You know, like a lot of these transfers played for some of the best coaches in college basketball, and I don't take that for granted. You know, we'll build on that. We're doing a film study right now, you know, where all of our guys were most effective last year, all the way down to Jalen and Gavin too, because we can get all that high school film too. So, but yeah, the fact that their numbers improved, their games have improved, absolutely, that was a part of the evaluation process.
Bob in front here.
You talked a lot about how different he is a couple times since he walked in the room to us. Does he remind you of anyone in that sense? Is there somebody that you've been around that has that special quality?
Yeah, all sorts of players. He's got a humility to him. He would never know he's an all Big Ten player that, you know, was one of the best players in the G League Combine, and then had a real chance. I mean, he got real feedback from the NBA. You know, we were going through the process with some of our guys, Mac McClung and T.J. Shannon was in it. So I was getting those phone calls. I was talking to the same guys every day that Marcus was talking to. So we were common. So we heard the same things. It's no secret. I mean, 3-point percentage has to go up, and I think a lot of that's going to be shot selection. Hopefully he doesn't have to take some of the tough shots. that he took his previous school, kind of late shot clock stuff. And the other thing is just obviously being a little bit more vocal. To me, I don't need Tim Tebow every year. I mean, some of the toughest, best players I've ever coached are not big talkers, but there's a way to communicate, and he's got to put his presence on each possession. And certainly to be paid one day at the highest level, which I believe he can play in that league, as several of other guys, I believe that too. He's got to be able to communicate, and so talking a little bit more. And then the last one, he's got to win. And I would say, I don't make those decisions, but I know a little bit about the NBA, probably more than the next guy. But I think if Marcus Carr played in the Final Four last year, Marcus Carr would be in the NBA right now. I believe that. So there's a relationship between winning and a lot of things. And one of those things, winning, relates to, to those guys getting drafted. And that's a big thing for all of our guys. We say, hey, together, we all eat. And so we win, we all eat, is I think what the guys say.
And then just on that note on being vocal, is there a challenge in having so many guys that were the alpha at their school or really good at their school coming in and then trying to figure out who's the guy we lean on? Can we lean on everyone? The difference in the big moment.
Yeah, absolutely a challenge, but I would much rather have that than be sitting around thinking we have nobody that wants that role. So, this is Texas, and this is us, and this is what we're doing. So, yeah, we'd much rather have those challenges. I hear from time to time around town, hey, do you have too much? It's a hell of a lot better than walking into Kirby Lane and somebody saying you don't have enough. So, yeah, but it's a good question. We know a lot of these guys have been leaders, and it's just a matter of figuring out kind of when and how this thing's going to look. To me, the first part about being a leader is you got to be a follower. Think about that. If you've never followed, you don't know how to lead. And all these guys have shown humility and a little bit of sacrifice is a big word in our locker room right now. So it's early. We hadn't been punched in the mouth yet. We hadn't had much adversity, but there's an optimism that that this could be a really good team. I think there's going to be some nights in November and December where you leave the Irwin Center kind of scratching your head, and I'll probably be right there with you. But I think you'll see the growth of this team, and the plan is to be playing really good basketball in February and March, and then make a run.
Front right, Nick, please.
I just wanted to ask about Jace. Obviously, wasn't 100% last year coming off the injury and the long rehab process. Curious, what kind of progress has he made this offseason, and what kind of role do you envision him, playing for y'all?
Yeah, Jace is he's made incredible progress since the day we got here. I give John Riley and Warren, our trainer, a lot of that credit, but I give Jace the most credit. I mean, he's been very disciplined, and he's been open to some change, which is not easy for older guys. He's been around here a long time, and he's had a lot of success. And so to ask him to kind of do things different took a lot of trust, and we earned that trust quickly. I don't want to speak for him, but, we went to work. Once he told us he was on board, we celebrated for about 5 minutes, and we went to work. The biggest thing with Jace, and I have no problem telling his story because that's, to me, that's one of my jobs, is he just hadn't been healthy. And the season that he had and what Shaka was able to do with him and stuff was really memorable. And we always kind of thought that coaching against him, that we thought there was some things we could maybe do. But he's can't wait for you guys to see him here in a couple of weeks. His body is stronger than he's been since pre-injury. He's starting to do some of the things that I remember him doing years ago in high school. I mean, he hasn't always just been a corner shooter. The guy was a really good player. And so, yeah, it's almost like we got a different player, if that makes sense. But the biggest thing with him is just staying healthy. And there's a relationship to me, like the discipline in the weight room and conditioning and off the court living, all the way down to nutrition, to sleep. You got to give yourself a chance to stay healthy, and I think he's done that. He's earned the right to have a great last year, best year ever at college basketball, and I have a lot of confidence in him.
You mentioned making some changes and doing some new things with him. What were some of the areas that y'all really wanted to attack with him this offseason?
Yeah, some of the things with his body, he had some things with his hips and stuff, and more of a John Riley question, but some flexibility. Like, a lot of people, when they think weight room, they just think 3 sets of 10 and get stronger. Much different. That's only 25% of probably what John does in there. It's flexibility, and it's durability, and it's just stuff with the way he's moving, but he's just moving better. And the guys could see it too. Like, he'll go make a play every once in a while, and we'll be like, man, Jace is back. He went and blocked a shot the other day on defense where most guys just couldn't block that shot. He just made a play with his own ability. So a lot of it has just been getting his body back under him with some strength. John's done some stuff with his hips and stuff. And Jace has worked really hard. I mean, he's putting in the time. And, you think about it, he's arguably one of the best shooters in the country, right? And we're asking him to work like the guys that are trying to get his shot, and he has. I mean, he's in here as much as anybody. And when your best shooter is in here putting time in, this is what a good culture begins to feel like.
Stay in the front to Ross.
Hey, Coach, I think my fellow students and I are very appreciative of the effort you put into engaging the student body. I saw that you were at SIGAP last night, and I just wanted to know, do you have a message for other student orgs or fraternities that, want you to come pay a visit?
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, and thank you, because we're working at it. It's not fluff. It's something I try to spend time on every single day, whether it's a phone call or at least a meeting or getting out somewhere. So it's real. We're going to earn the students' trust. We're going to work at it. It's going to be a real relationship. It's not just going to be me showing up, throwing out some T-shirts, and saying, "Hey, come to the game." And I think we're going to be a presence around here, whether it's other sporting events or campus visits or on campus or local spots. We want to be a part of this. We want men's basketball. We want it to be a part of the college experience here, and so we're working hard at it. I've already gotten a couple of not heated, but some people reaching out, "Hey, why didn't you come to our house first or whatever?" That deal last night was CDC, and he does a great job promoting the whole athletic department. I don't want to speak for him, but I think every Monday night he's out there in that Greek world, and so I just got a last-minute invite to go with him last night. But we look forward to going to every house, both sorority and fraternity, every club, anything going on this campus, whether it's music-based or club-based or major-based. I mean, we want to be a part of it, and my actions will dictate. My actions will back up my words. We're not messing around. We got to have a student section to have a home court advantage, and to do that, you just got to go get relationships with people.
Were you Greek?
No.
Chip on your right.
Chris, you mentioned if Carr was in the Final Four, he'd probably be in the NBA. Some of these guys were doing heavy lifting on teams that were not a threat to go deep in March. So how much of that was a selling point? As you're talking to these guys, bringing in all these tip-of-the-spear type guys to come play together and get there?
Yeah, I mean, it is a big part of everything. That has to be a source of what we're doing. I mean, our deal is never lose your chip. I think the street dog is going to win the fight every single time. And so that's the thing. That's kind of the challenge here. I mean, we're Texas. We've got all the resources. We've got the brand. We've got the academics. We've got the fan base. But how do we keep that, how do we keep that chip? To me, it'll never be a problem because it's just who I am. I don't, we walked off the floor a couple years ago on Monday night. I was as motivated as I've ever been. It's just how I'm wired. And, in my dreams, when we dream the championship one year, we try to validate it with the next one. So, but with the players, it's really the focal point of who we are. We have real young man to grown man conversation about, you just look at our team, guys. I think we have one player that's won an NCAA tournament game, if I'm not mistaken, and that's Christian. And we've got some coaches that have won championships and been on Monday night and all sorts of things. And it's not knocking the players, but it's having a real conversation. It's like we have to learn our identity, and one part of our identity with this group is it's time to win. These guys are thirsty to get to the tournament. They're thirsty to feel a win. They're thirsty to get to that second weekend. That's what it's all about. So we're not afraid or shy to talk about that right now. I mean, we're talking about the NCAA tournament right now in September at these practices. I mean, if why not? Why wouldn't you if that's the goal?
Thanks all. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.